Hello, 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 everybody. How are y'all doing? I am Senator Angela Williams Graves, representing the 21st Senatorial District in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and this is a 2025 General Assembly special edition of What's Up Wednesdays. So you all know that we had some issues. Session started last week. It started on Wednesday, and we gavelled in as we were required to do. We took care of housekeeping, which was basically bills that set the parameters for how we operate during the session. And then we recessed because the city of Richmond had no water. And so without water, you don't have drinking water. You can't take, well, you could take a bird bath, but that's not really a shower or bath. But there's no food to be cooked. And there's a lot that can go wrong with that. Plus, if there's no water to the building, our sprinkler systems don't work. And so we needed to make sure that for the safety and welfare of everyone involved, that we gave the city of Richmond the time that they needed in order to correct the situation and bring us all back online with running water and bring us back to session. And so we came back on Monday. So we've been in session since Monday, and we have really been working hard on your behalf. I say in the 21st Senatorial District that we do good work on your behalf, and we really have been doing that here in the General Assembly in the last 2.5 days. So you're seeing this. I am recording it because I want to keep you all updated about what's going on, what we're doing as we get further into session. The pace will pick up, right? And things will go a lot faster. But I want to give you some information on how you can follow us and what we're doing, how you can watch the sessions and you can tune in virtually and watch the sessions, how you can tune in. You can also come in and give your verbal input on bills. You can do that as well. So I want to make sure that you are equipped to take this journey with us as we move through the 2025 General Assembly session. So let's see, what do we have here? All right, y'all know I play producer, right? So we're going to go in here. All right, so these are going to come. We're going to do one this week. I think we're going to do one next week. We're going to do these a little bit more. Normally we do them on the third Wednesday of every month. And we're going to do them a little bit more frequently because we want to make sure, I want to make sure that you all are staying updated. So we're just tune in. We'll put the notices out on social media and just tune in, or you can watch the replay on our YouTube channel. And all of our YouTube channel and social media, all that's at the very this side, top of the screen over there. Yeah, over there. So on Facebook and Twitter, we are, and YouTube, we are at AWG Norfolk. And on Instagram, we are at AWG_Norfolk. So you can follow us on any of those platforms, all of those platforms, and get our updated information. So let's jump in with updates. We are technically in week 2 of the General Assembly session, and we are in the short session. So this is 45 days. Our session ends this year on February 22nd or 3rd, one of those days. And we are doing a lot of good work. So I have 3 bills that are up on what we call second read. All right, so there are 3 sets of readings on bills. The first reading is waived, all right, or else we would be there all day. But back in the day, they would read the bill, right? Like folks couldn't read, but the clerk would read the bill, and that would be first read. And then that was the basis of the bill. And then second read is in the Senate, because the process is a little bit different in the House, okay? But in the Senate, second read, if there are any amendments to the bill, okay, then those amendments are presented and accepted. They may be challenged, all right? There may be some discussion on the amendment, but those amendments on second read. So none of my bills excuse me, have amendments. None of these three, anyway, have amendments. So there are no amendments to accept on these bills, and so they will kind of go on by in second read, and then tomorrow, which will be Thursday, is when they are up for third read, which is when I present the bill and defend the bill if there are any opposing questions. And then we vote on the bill. You can also vote to carry the bill by for the day. So let's say there's an issue between senators about the bill, or somebody has come with, an amendment or some changes, or they just have questions. Out of courtesy, instead of forcing someone to take a vote, and maybe not taking a vote in a manner that would be beneficial to the bill, we can pass the bill by for a day and bring it back once the two senators have had the opportunity to speak to one another and hash out whatever concerns there might be. If there's no concern on third read, the senator, I will present my bill. I will answer any questions from the floor on my bill, and then that bill will be voted on. And if it passes, then it will go over to the House. And once we hit crossover on February 5th, then all of this process starts all over again, where we start this same process in committee. So this bill went through committee. It was actually up on Monday. It was up on Monday. So all three of these passed out of committee. Senate Bill 987 amends the charter of the city of Norfolk for the deputy fire chief position. We have this same posture with deputy police chiefs. So it makes the deputy fire chief and it puts the deputy fire chief in line with the deputy police chief. Okay, so that's not anything really significant, but it allows for some change in how they're classified. And then SB 992, it provides an enhanced level of civil penalties for Planning District 23, which is Hampton Roads, for repeat commercial violators. We have all seen commercial buildings in our city where folks have just let the building go to just a crapper. Okay, they just let the building go to the crapper. And commercial landlords are responsible. So the fees for commercial landlords are so insignificant that some of them just consider that fee the cost of doing business, and they'll just pay the fee. So this, the initial fine stays at $200. All right, it's $200 or $250. I just can't remember off the top of my head. And then it increases to $1,000 to $1,500 for the second and third violation. And this is significant because there is a cap of $4,200 in a calendar year that a commercial owner can be fined for zoning violations. All right. And these are repeat offenders. These are bad actors who are not interested in keeping their property up. We want to incent them to do so and make sure that they are keeping their property up to the proper city code standards. All right. So the best way to incent somebody is to mess with their pocketbook, right? And then SB 997 simply clarifies the state code with on when a person who has won an election should be sworn in. So we had, as you are aware, a recent city council election, and this applies to local elections only. It does not apply to anything else. It's just local elections. We had a city council election, and the city charter said one thing, but the state code said something else. And the reason why that became an issue was because there was a recount. Okay, you recall this. There was a recount. And so if the councilman-elect, who had for all intents and purposes won the election, did not get sworn in within 10 days of the election being certified, then they would have forfeited their seat. Okay. Now, in that same 10-day period was when the candidate who was not declared the winner of the election had the legal right to request a recount. Okay. And so it just kind of created a little bit of ambiguity in when do folks get sworn in. And I can tell you, I was not sworn in. I was only sworn in once within that 10-day period. And that was in my very first special election in 2010, right? So I suspect, and having gone to several swearing in ceremonies, that there are a lot of localities that have not done this right, but it may not have been called into question as it opposed the state code, okay, for local elections. So we just wanted to clarify the language, give folks the opportunity up until the day of the first day of their term. Anyone who is elected and is declared the winner of an election, regardless of recount or whatever, can be sworn in. They don't have to be sworn in within 10 days of certification. They can be sworn in anytime up into the first day of their term. All right. So that just makes it real easy. And I think that's pretty much what people have been doing anyway. All right. So those are on second read today. And then tomorrow I will present them, and then they will go to they'll be voted on. And I suspect that those will be okay. Now, the exciting news, we have constitutional amendments. We've talked about the constitutional amendments. If you go back to some of the What's Up Wednesdays, we have talked about what the constitutional amendments are. We've also talked about what the process is to get constitutional amendments on the ballot. Okay. And the long story short is the constitutional amendment has to pass 2 years in a row with a House of Delegates election in between. And so this year, January 2025, the House has passed their version yesterday. The Senate version will come to the floor either today or tomorrow. And then they will cross over. And the same thing will happen again, but they will pass. All right. They will pass. All right. And then the House elections are this November. They're November of 2025. And if you want to see these, I'm going political for like 30 seconds. If you want to see these amendments on the ballot for you to have your say, we need the House of Delegates to win their majority back in November. That is the only way that these amendments get to the ballot, all right, as constitutional amendments. They only get to the ballot if the House of Delegates wins their Democratic majority in November. Because if we are not successful, no Republican voted for any of these. All right, there was, you can go back and look at the Privileges and Elections Committee meeting yesterday. That would have been January 14th in the Senate. I'm not sure when the House, they met in the summer, but they voted on the floor, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. All right. On their amendments. And you can look at the vote. When these come to the floor, you can look at the final vote and see that there will not be a single Republican who will vote for any of these amendments. And so in order for them to pass, they need a simple majority, not a super majority, a simple majority. And we have that. We have 21 in the House, we have 41, we have 21 in the Senate and 51 in the House. And so we need the House members to maintain or expand their majority in November, because then they have to go back through this process all over again, January of 2026. And then they go in November of 2026, they go on the ballot. They totally bypass the governor, y'all. Totally bypass the governor. That's the beauty of it all. His veto means nothing in the constitutional amendment process. So then they go on the ballot, and the voters have the right to say if these amendments should be part of our Constitution, the way we do business, the way we see people, the way we issue restorative justice, the way we protect women, and the way we see humans who love each other in the Commonwealth of Virginia. All right. And that's really powerful. And so there are three that pass out of privileges and elections. SJ 247, reproductive freedom. SJ 248, restoration of voting rights. And SJ 249, marriage equality. And so you can go back. I'm not going to go over what they cover because y'all should have been paying attention. But if you weren't and you missed it, it's okay. Because in previous What's Up Wednesdays, I think the December 18th version had the amendments and the process, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the What's Up Wednesdays that goes through it, and you can go through and you can read it. So where am I working, right? What am I doing? What committees, when you hear me say committee assignments or I'm in committee or whatever, where am I designated to spend the most of my time? So in addition to my bills that I'm carrying, and I'll give you a link where you can find those bills, in addition to the bills that I'm carrying this year, I'm also designated in committee assignments. And so that's where we kind of do a deep dive into various bills. We have expert testimony, folks who are lobbyists in the professional lobbying community, but also we have citizen lobbyists as well. Those individuals who are, I think sometimes they go by activists, okay, but they're citizen lobbyists. And what they're doing is they're coming and they're presenting their side of the story and they're saying yes or no, and here are the reasons why I support or I don't support this bill. So I'm working in agriculture, conservation, and natural resources. I will tell y'all, I got assigned this committee in the House. And I was like, oh my God, seriously, what do I know about agriculture? I don't even own plants, right? But I thought I would hate this committee, but I love this committee. I absolutely love this committee. It is so interesting and so many different things come before us. And I am learning so much about the environment and conservation and natural resources and agriculture, like that whole farm to table experience, right? To see how food is grown and to see what goes into that and how it affects what we consume to stay alive. I mean, we need food to stay alive, right? Food, water, air, all those things, right? And so that whole experience, this experience in agriculture has been amazing for me personally, and it has given me a great opportunity to learn and to have valuable input in what is important, right? And then it also affords me the opportunity to look at environmental justice for our communities. What the things that we do, how do they affect everyone, not just some of the ones, right? And then there's local government. Well, y'all know I love local government. I'm a local government girl. I spent 10 years with the city of Norfolk. I spent 10 years on city council. And so I am I'm the local government queen. I'm just going to crown myself, okay? Local government queen. And I love local government because one of the things that is very important to me is making sure that we do not put forth one size fits all types of laws. All right. Because legislators legislate. That is what I am. That is what I do. I am a legislator. All right. We create laws. All right. We can call it public service. We can call it elected official. But we legislate. We create laws. We vote on laws. And it's important for you to know that every law that is on the books came before some legislative body. People don't really connect that part together, but every law that is on the books, every fine that is on the books, that if you are charged with this crime and the fine is, it came before some legislative body. And therefore, that we are legislators, all right? Now, because of that, I have a unique past in local government, and I understand that, number one, all cities are not equal. All cities are not alike, and all cities' resources are not equal. And so my goal is to make sure that localities have what they need individually and collectively to do what their citizens want done. all right, in a manner that is beneficial for the whole of that locality. Because what works for Norfolk may not work for Suffolk, may not work for Isle of Wight, may not work for Virginia Beach, may not work for Smythe County, may not work for anywhere else. Not necessarily anywhere else, but like it's not, these laws cannot be one size fits all. This is not a pair of gloves here, okay? This is actually a pair of shoes. Local government's a pair of shoes. And y'all know I love my shoes. But local government's not gloves with one size fits all. Local government is shoes. And you have some that are size 5, you have some that are size 9, you have some that are size 8. And we want to make sure that we can't take those that are size 5 and give it. Well, we can't take those that are size 9 and give them the resources of a size 5. It's not going to be enough, right? So we want to make sure that we're being equitable in how we do things with local government and giving local government officials the opportunity to listen to their constituents, to get feedback and craft things that are beneficial and will work for them without them having to come back to us over and over and over again. All right. We'll talk about Dillon Rule State later, but it from a local government perspective, it gets on my nerves. But it's what we have, it's who we are, and that is what it is. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then I have rehabilitation and social services. That is a committee that I sit on. So we do everything from foster care and day treatment centers and all that kind of stuff to ABC laws and all of those things. And so that's the rehab and social services piece is where we see a large variety of bills. We talk about companion animals. We talk about it's just very no. I'm sorry. Companion animals is in agriculture. That's not in rehab. That's in ag. But we have several subcommittees there that flesh out more of the information for these bills before they come to the floor for a final vote. And then my new assignment as of sometime after 1:00 today is general laws and technology. And so general laws is a very broad and expansive committee where lots of different bills come to in a lot of different subject matters. So I'm really excited about that because it will give me the opportunity again to learn, to be exposed to more, and to be able to have greater input into what goes into the laws of the Commonwealth of Virginia and how they affect our citizens. So I'm really excited. This general laws, if you recall, I was on transportation, was my committee. But general laws will be because we had two members actually to leave and go to Congress. So that left vacancies in committees. And so those vacancies had to then be reshuffled around, and based on seniority in the Senate, okay, based on seniority, I was eligible to be moved from one committee to another. And so general laws is where I'll be, general laws and technology. So I'm excited about that because I get to learn some more good stuff and do good work. I love having people come by and see me. A lot of the time that we spend in session, before and after session, if we're not in committee, is meeting with various groups. It can be with lobbyists, and lobbyists is not a bad word. I want you to understand that, because they have a job to do on behalf of their clients who are people. And they also help us as well in providing expert information. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, lobbyist opinion is not the only opinion I take into consideration, because I've told lobbyists no. That bill is what the people say, that dog don't hunt, okay? So I will tell them, nope, not voting for that. That doesn't make sense. And I have no problem with saying no to something that I don't agree with, all right? And so Clean Water Lobby Day, great group of folks who lobby for environmental justice, clean water. These are not paid people. These are citizen lobbyists who are coming to their legislators advocating for things that are important to them. And we had young people who came and who were talking about the need for environmental education and in the schools. And I gave them some ideas on how they could present to their school board for curriculum. But we have young people who are concerned about our environment. And I think that's very, very important. So I was happy to meet with them. The Community Healthcare Association, oh my gosh, they were absolutely great, giving me some information that I did not have about how certain things are paid for based on federal legislation and federal dollars, and how we could match it with state dollars. Then there's the railroad union workers lobbyists. So our railroads, we got plenty of them in Norfolk, right? And we just want to make sure that we're keeping the workers safe. Everything for me boils down to people and human beings, right? And there is no city of Norfolk. There is no city of Virginia Beach. There is no Commonwealth without the people who occupy it, right? So, and people work in all different industries. And the idea that folks are working and they're risking their lives just by going to work every day because corporations want to make big bucks. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm a businesswoman. I am not opposed to corporations making big bucks. However, you cannot make your big bucks at the expense of the lives of the people with whom you work or with whom you employ. All right. That's my position on it. If you make 50 million instead of 60 million and all your people are safe, really, are you missing the 10 million? Just saying. All right. So Farm Bureau, met with them. Love the Farm Bureau. Told y'all, love the farm to table concept. I went out this summer and I think we talked about it. I got to go to the chicken farm and got to go to the cow farm and got to go to the beef farm. It was just amazing to see the beef and to see the chickens. Did y'all know that Popeye's chicken actually comes from Virginia? We grow the little chickens, right? They are cultivated right here in Virginia. And it's really, really neat. And then we had our BLBC press conference outlining the Virginia Legislative Black Caucus, outlining our priorities of making sure that we are taking care of working families and that we are we're standing on our voting rights. We're standing on restoration. We're taking care of folks who are marginalized in our communities. And so that was yesterday as well. So we crammed in a lot of stuff yesterday and Monday because we were out for 2 days last week. All right. So I want to take the opportunity in these last few minutes to invite you to join us for Norfolk Day at the Capitol. We did that last year. This is our second annual Norfolk Day at the Capitol. The Bit.ly link is there. Please make sure if you are planning to come, please make sure that you register so that we know that you're coming and we can have provisions for you. It's going to be a great opportunity to meet all your legislators. There are 6 of us, all right, that are going to be there, and a Democrat and Republican. We have one Republican that represents Norfolk, and he's going to be there with us. And so, because all of y'all are constituents, right? We can't just vote for stuff that affects the people who belong to our party or who voted for us. Can't do that. Sometimes I'd like to, but we can't do that, right? We vote on bills that affect everybody. And so it is important that everyone gets the opportunity to interact with their legislator. And this is an opportunity for you to do that, as well as an opportunity for you to see the Capitol, be introduced. You'll be introduced in the Senate. Some of y'all will go to the House. Some of y'all will come to the Senate and be introduced on the House and Senate floors as guests of myself, Senator DeStep in the Senate, and then Jackie Bonita and Phil over in the House side. Then last name, before we tell you where you can get in touch with us, is if you know someone who has made a significant, who's in Norfolk or worships in Norfolk or lives in Norfolk or works in Norfolk and has contributed to the community of Norfolk in a significant way, that does outstanding work and needs and deserves to be recognized and honored, whether they want to be or not, send us a request for a commending resolution. You have until February 7th. February 7th is the deadline for you to do this, but send us a request for a commending resolution. And there it's norfolksenator.com/resolutions. And you can send that over to us and we will put together a commending resolution. It will be voted on. It will be entered into the official record of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And then after session is over, we'll coordinate a ceremony to present that to that individual. And if there is someone who has passed away, who has given their life to community service or was extremely impactful in the work that they did in the city of Norfolk, then I want to know about them too. We can honor their lives in a memorial resolution to honor them. And that also is entered into the official record and historical record of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we can arrange after session is over to get a copy of that to their families. And so make sure February 7th is the last day, but make sure that if you know anybody that falls in that category, visit norfolksenator.com/resolutions. And if all you remember is norfolksenator.com, go to constituent services and you'll see the drop down for resolutions. All right, last but not least, you can track my bills. That is the bit.ly link to track my bills. We have a new LIS system and it is not fully functional. So if you go the traditional route to get to my bills, I don't know what you're going to see, to be perfectly honest with you. But I do know if you go to the bit.ly link that we have right here, bit.ly/AWGLIS 2025, bit.ly/AWGLIS 2025, you can get to my bills and you can track my bills. If you want to watch the session, you can go to the Virginia Senate Granicus page. You can click there. If you have a constituent services request while we're here in session, please feel free to reach out to us here or at the phone numbers that are scrolling below, and or email us info@norfolksenator.com, info@norfolksenator.com. We are still working on your behalf while we are in Richmond. So a lot of the times our constituent services issues are resolved in a day or two or three or whatever, but we get you to where you need to be so that you can get a resolution for your issue. Once again, I am Senator Angela Williams Graves, and it is my absolute honor to represent you in the Senate of Virginia in the 21st Senatorial District, which is the majority of Norfolk, right? I'm a Norfolk girl, and I get the honor and privilege of representing my hometown and representing my city. And so it is an honor to do so. I am headed off now because you guys are going to be seeing this live at noon, but at noon, I'm going to be in session. And so that's why we're recording these, to give you an update on what's going on. And then so I can be literally in two places at one time. So I want to remind you that as your senator, I love you. And I want to remind you that you are a walking, talking, living, breathing miracle. Don't forget it. And we'll see you next time. God bless.